Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy EM. Holla at me if you want any exclusives, any new music, new videos, new interviews, new artists. I want to check out from the camp, you know what I'm saying? Holla at your boys, you know what I'm saying? Holla at me, pt.2 period MIRRORS at AOL.com. Once again, that's Eddie period mirrors at AOL.com. I apologize to y'all a little earlier. You know, the ghetto bird was out. I guess something, happened at the school wherever I'm at right now. You know, something took place at a school right across the street from where I am. So I had to lay low for a minute, you know. But yeah, back to the topic. This interview right here is based on Chaka Khan and her son that I was once friends with. His name was Damian Patrick Harlan. A lot of this stuff took place in 1996. I met him at school, high school, which was Canoga Park High School. And we became friends ever since. We got to meeting each other through some chicks or whatever, and that's how, I met him, you know what I'm saying? Some chicks introduced me to him, you know what I'm saying? So everything after that was history, you dig? So when I was explaining to y'all about the rituals and the door being open, I didn't get the look that I wanted to see, but I seen enough for me to know that these guys were freaks, you know what I'm saying? And I explained everything in detail, the other footage that I sent to y'all not too long ago. As far as everything that happened that day on December 11th, 1996, everything happened so fast, you know what I'm saying? With me observing what was going on in that household, with me absorbing what was going on before I went inside the house, and everything that happened within a flash when I heard that mysterious voice coming from, outside, somewhere in the house, in the closet, wherever that voice came from, I was pretty much shocked and more alert towards the fact. It was just I couldn't be as alert as I wanted to be, you know what I'm saying? Just because, I was buzzing a little bit, I was a little high, I was in my right state of mind during that time taking place, you dig? But yeah, the bodyguard was pretty much a funny style nigga, you know what I'm saying? I explained all of that too in my last interview. But I wanted to touch on some things, basically from December 11th, 1996, after that took place at that household, from that particular date to January 26th of 1997, it was pretty much a lot of drama going on, between my step parents, them, wanting to throw me out the house, and, the marriage was kind of pretty much effed up. I can't curse too much, I don't know who's around me, but it was kind of like, it was just an awful marriage, like, it wasn't seen eye to eye at all, so they had their little disagreements between the two. So yeah, they had their little disagreements between the two. So back to what I was saying about us going in the limousine, going to Circuit City. Circuit City was just like another word for Best Buy back then, It was like a store where you could get your electronics, whatever you wanted to get. TVs, video cameras, music, anywhere, appliances. All of that was, sold at Circuit City. It was like a little electronics store before they went out of business. I don't know how long ago they went out of business. I think probably 6 years ago or something. All I know this cat D, he used to have to connect with the limo drivers. You know, like he'd be doing business with the limo drivers under the table. He used to exchange drugs as far as the money. You know, we'll be everywhere in the limos. You know, instead of him paying him with cash, he'll pay him, you know, with drugs. So we be everywhere. We be all through LA. We be all through Newport Beach. We be all through Orange County area. You know, we ain't touched Ventura County yet, but you know, we've been places, you know, near that area. You know, near that field. You know, and it was pretty much a fun ride. You know, it was pretty much a fun ride. We used to go all through there. You know. So he had some it was a Hawaiian dude. It was like, yeah, like a Hawaiian dude. The reason why I'm talking about this guy because he used to be the main one. I used to come a lot, you know. Like Damien, he used to treat the limo drivers like hoes. He used to talk to them crazy, all of that, you know. But this one particular limo driver I'm talking about, I don't know where he came from, you know. I don't know what's. I know he met him, you know, through Chaka Khan or whatever, but I don't know what particular agency he was coming from. This cat used to come through, and he used to just pretty much give us rides. You know, sometimes he gave us rides for free. You know, my nigga D, like, look, man, I ain't got it right now, but you know, when I get it, I got you. Or you know, when I got it, you got it. So they had like a mutual understanding with each other. So I remember, you know, this nigga D, we used to always compete with each other. Like I said earlier, you know, we used to compete because, you know, I just came from the East, and it's funny that, you know, we was both West Coast motherfuckers, but he used to just pretty much compete against me because even though people, you know, claim that I got the accent, but I'm gonna represent the West till I die, you know. I'm a West Side nigga. So a lot of the music I used to bring to his house and all of that was pretty much like just West Coast music, like, you know, like a lot of that stuff, you know, West Side Connection, Tupac, you know, some music from the Bay, you know, like Sally Sale and all of that, you know, Too Short. I used to bring all of that, you know, when I used to go to his house, you know, because he always tell me, like, I'll never forget when he used to always tell me, or before he even picked me up, you know, he used to always tell me, like, look, man, if you got any new music, you know, make sure you had that on you and had a box of Phillies, you know. Or sometimes we'll talk in codes because my stepdad was an idiot, you know, he didn't want me around people that do drugs and all of that, you know. But I was always going against what he was saying, you know, because I was just a little dumb back then, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, to cut the BS, we took a limo to Circuit City in Van Nuys, you know, right there off of Victory and Woodman. It's not a Circuit City anymore. I think they turned that into like a thrift store or a swap meet or something. But back when it was Circuit City, we took a limo like right. We took a limo over there like right before during closing hours, you know. We took a limo over there and like right when they was about to close the store down, you know, they let us in to buy whatever we wanted. So me and D go up in there. He brought the Ghostface album. Ghostface first CD, Ghostface Killer of Wu-Tang Clan, you know, he brought the Iron Man CD, and I brought the Gridlock soundtrack because I was a Tupac fan back then, you know. I'm still am now too, to this day. But I used to like, I just had to buy it, you know. It was just on my mind. Like I was looking around, but we didn't have that much time to get what we wanted. So as soon as we hit the G section, you know, he got the Ghostface. I'm like, damn, you know, ain't no time for me to, you know, wander around here and see what else I like. So I just copped the Gridlock. I wanted it anyway, but I didn't even know it was out, you know, that particular day. So I got that. So we purchased those two albums, jumped back in the limo, and you know, he took the limo to Ralph's, you know, for we could get some cigars, you know, to light up some tree. So before we went over there, we drinking on whiskey, we smoking cigarettes, we just feeling like the untouchables, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about whiskey, just straight raw, like drinking whiskey naked, like we had like a little bit of ice or whatever, but it was just like, just no chaser, just straight naked, you dig, pause. But yeah, so we be lining up cigs or whatever. He was a Newport fanatic. Like he couldn't leave his house or he couldn't go anywhere without a fresh pack of Newports. You know what I'm saying? So we're smoking on some cigarettes. Drinking some whiskey straight. He wanted me, but he was kind of a scandalous cat because he'll want me to play my CD just to see he'll feel like it, but he couldn't listen to none of his music unless if he was high. You dig? So pretty much, we popped in my CD before we went to Rouse for he could buy some cigars for the little, excuse me, yo, my back itching, yo. But yeah, he only played like three songs from that Gridlock soundtrack, and the songs that he played was the only ones. It was from Pac, only the Pac songs that was on that Gridlock soundtrack. That's all he played till we got to Ralph's. He brought some cigars. He came back outside. He started rolling up. But he rolled up 2 blunts. I rolled up 1 blunt. So after that, he took the blunt I already rolled and he did like some experiment shit to it. He attached it to his blunt to make it just one long blunt. So we had like a long blunt. It was a Philly blunt, which is nothing but like 2 different grades of chronic. Like he had purple haze and he had some hydro. Just like, I think he got it from 2 different connects, but he did something to it, you know what I'm saying? As soon as he lit it up, like he popped in that Ghostface CD, and he's the type of cat, he don't like, he don't like skipping the songs. He'll play the album from beginning to end, which was kind of awkward because I'm like, damn, why he didn't show the Gridlock soundtrack no love? He playing the Ghostface from beginning to end. And I think as soon as it was one track I'll never forget, dog. I think it was called like Daytona 500 by Ghostface Killer on the Iron Man CD. He started playing it like real loud, you know what I'm saying? And the whole limo was just it seemed like a big cloud in there. It was funky, G. Like the whole limo was just smoked up, you know what I'm saying? Like if it was a fire inside of there, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, those were the memories, yo. And we used to always compete against each other, cause he's a West Coast nigga, he was gang banging, I was gang banging too, but besides all of that, he just didn't like West Coast rap too much, he wouldn't even name you like people he'll like out here. He'll probably like 1 or 2 artists out here. Everything else to him was just pretty much trash. Like, he'll take it out of his CD box and just throw it. He'll throw it out the wall like a ninja star, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't like West Coast music whatsoever. I guess it was during that era, West Coast rap wasn't about anything, in those years, when you had all this Wu-Tang stuff coming out, and all this other stuff coming out, like pretty much, West Coast artists wasn't hitting back 18 years ago, you dig? So my final days, before I got incarcerated from December 11th, 1996 to January 26th, 1997, I was going through a lot of drama with my peoples, Basically, Chaka Khan's bodyguard was humping my stepmoms, behind my back, which it was none of my business, and I didn't really care for it too much. The thing I really cared for, the reason why he snitched on me, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it was just a big dilemma, a lot of crazy stuff going on, a lot of rumors was being said, and, pretty much the bodyguard was having an affair. he was sleeping with my stepmom's, which she was married, and he was fucking Chaka Khan in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Certain nights when my nigga D be so sleep, and a whole nother world in his dreams, and I just be in the I be in the bathroom. When I be in the bathroom, I just always see him coming out in and out of the bathroom like, yo, why is this cat keep coming in and out the room, 12, 1 in the morning, you know what I'm saying? But that was that. So when Super Bowl around the time 1997 when Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl, I wasn't even at home. I wasn't even at home for probably 4 days. During that little short time. So during that little short time, I was when I used to get out of school, I used to just go straight to his house. You know what I'm saying? And before all of that, I didn't know why I never talked to anybody about the stuff that was going on in his house. I never talked to nobody at school about it because I felt too ashamed. I didn't want to put somebody on blast, which of a person I looked at as a friend, because when you in high school, everybody gossip, but I wasn't that type of dude. I was a real loyal, humble dude. You know what I'm saying? So during the Green Bay Packers, when they won and all of that, my house got robbed and I wasn't even at the house. So when I came back home, it was probably a day after either a day or two after Super Bowl. I think it was on the 28th or something like that. When I went home on January 28th, 1997, my parents, they try to flip the script on me. They try to, they thought I had something to do with it. Them motherfuckers thought if I robbed my own house, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even really consider it rob. They didn't really take nothing big. They just took my PS1 and some shoes. That was it. They didn't even go in my step parents' room to take none of their shit. They didn't even go to my little brother room to take nothing. They just took my PS1 and some shoes. That was it. But it was pretty much obvious the house got robbed because it was a lot of stuff was thrown everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And plus we had 2 dogs at the time. Those 2 dogs were missing. But just all the doors was pretty much open, and it looked like, them dudes left some type of trail of evidence behind, before they left, you know what I'm saying? So when that happened, a lot of stuff was going on. I didn't know who to trust. I couldn't even think who did it, you know what I'm saying? I was so hurt, you know what I'm saying? Not hurt as far as being sad, but hurt as far as being real mad, you dig? And I kind of had an idea at the time who did it, but I didn't want to point no fingers till everything come to the light. It's an old saying, whatever you do in the dark will come to light. So, I was just, patiently waiting, seeing, who's acting funny around me. Because I had a shitload of friends back then, so I didn't know that particular time who did what or who did it, you know what I'm saying? So eventually I found out who did it, but, at that time, it took me some time to find out who did it. I didn't find all this out till I got incarcerated. When I went to jail, I say like a month and a half before I got released. The homie from the streets wrote me a letter and he told me who did it. And I thought he was fronting at first. I thought he did it. You know what I'm saying? Not that because he wrote me the letter and it looked fishy. It's just the fact that how did he find out who did what? Who the hell he know, or just how he found out the information? Because if somebody tell you, I know who robbed you, you kind of look at them like, how did you find this out? Or, did you have something to do with it? So everything was pretty much questionable and everything was, thrown in the air as far as he knowing who did it. But I found that out a month and a half before I went to jail, I mean, a month and a half before I was getting released from juvenile hall. That's when I found that out. Because during the time, I didn't know who did it. It was still going through my mind, who did it, but I didn't know who to talk to or who knew what. You know what I'm saying? So during that time, I remember before I got locked up, there was a rapper out there. I'm sure he still is out there. He was my he was a friend of the family, somewhat of my cousin. It's just somebody that got my cousin pregnant. Got married. Had some kids by her or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But his name was Soul Myth. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna tell y'all his real name or nothing like that. But called him Soul Myth. Before I went to jail, this happened like the final days before I got incarcerated. So I say like around New Year's, before my house getting robbed. They had battle at his house for like 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? It was just non-stop going at it. Just first it started off just like a freestyle just a freestyle competition. But then certain words was becoming to sound like it was like subliminal messages. Just little stuff, just like I guess they was talking about. It started off with them rapping about the stuff that was going on in the world. Then pretty much it was just like just little verbal attacks here and there. You know what I'm saying? When I guess Soul Myth he felt awkward about it. You know what I'm saying? So he jumped, he jumped in the ring and started throwing blows like Muhammad Ali, you dig? So it was crazy though. Them dudes was going at it for quite some time, you know what I'm saying? I had some of that stuff recorded too. Who knows where the tape is at, but I had the tape, you know what I'm saying? I had the tape till my house got robbed. When they battled on New Year's, they went at it for 3 hours or whatever. After that, I had a tape. I had an actual tape. It was a cassette. It was like a TDK, 120-minute, film on them joints. You know what I'm saying? I had the tape, so I wound up giving it to a friend, and the friend I gave it to, he's part of that clique now. He's part of the Scums. They changed the name. The name was at that time was Scums of the Earth, but they changed it to I think just Scums. I think they spell it SKUMMZ. And I gave it to him, but this one he wasn't even rapping. He was just like a little dude back then. A little dude that was a little wet behind the ears. And he got the tape, and he pretty much. I don't know what he did with it. I don't know if he still got it. He sold it. I don't know what he did with it. But I don't got it anymore, If y'all still want to know who got the tape, I don't got it anymore. And I guess during that time, Soul Myth of the Scums, he was on the radio. He was on the radio probably like, it was during the weekends, because I guess Power 106, they got that little stuff going on the weekends where it was like hip hop weekends or something like that. So they'll bring people that battle and all of that. So yeah, it was like probably like a week after, no, not even a week, like a week after Christmas, but 3 days after New Year's, Soul Myth was on the radio. And somebody got that tape, but who knows who got it. So after I got released from juvenile hall, it was a cool minute, you know what I'm saying, before I talked to anybody, you know what I'm saying. I remember when I got out, my step parents picked me up. They picked me up from the Silmar Juvenile Hall facility. I got out like September 16th, 1997. I was in there from February 11th, 1997 to September 16th, 1997. And I'll never forget when my step parents picked me up. You know, they gave me that Mac 10 based on a true story album. I'm gonna get back to y'all in a minute, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I see some people coming my way. I don't know who they are. But holla at your boy if you want some more interviews, you know what I'm saying? Eddie period Mirrors at AOL. That's EDDY period MIRRORS at AOL. And the reasoning, me, you know, getting out of here right now because, you know, I see like a red van. I don't even know who it is. You know, they just keep driving by here, you know, tinting windows or whatever. But it's not that I'm scared of anything. I just need to relocate and break down some more of my experiences as far as dealing with Chaka Khan and Chaka Khan's son. So I'm going to keep y'all posted. Y'all keep y'all head up, alright? Peace.